Welcome back. Now, as Nigeria heads towards the 2027 election, Peter Obi remains a very dominant figure in the political space, and his persistence, brings up a lot of questions about if he is truly driven by genuine passion to transform Nigeria or a yielding obsession with power. Well, that brings us to talk on 2027 Peter Obi's obsession beyond the campaigns. With us in the studio this morning is Nnamdi Nwachukwu. He is a data analyst and economist. He's also a youth advocate. Thank you so much for joining us. Good morning.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, looking at the build-ups to 2027 elections, before we go into Peter Obi, let's look at generally, what do you think? Coalitions are springing up. We've been having cases of defections from one party to the other. So tell us, what do you think about all the build-ups and everything around 2027 elections?
Well, it's not unusual. It has always been that way in all political dispensations. Okay? Once election is approaching, there are dynamics that goes on in political parties. Parties trying to seize power, some parties trying to sustain power, some trying to build a new paradigm or structure to assume the role of presidency or other portfolios. So this is not unusual. It happens at every political space or dispensation in Nigeria. So it's one of those things that we expect.
You don't think it's too early?
Well, when it comes to politics in Nigeria, they don't count your early time or late time. They believe that is only where they exercise their proactivity, trying to put some things in place in advance so as to achieve their political aims and objectives.
All right, now let's talk about Peter Obi. Can you, analyze Peter Obi in view of 2027, from 2023 up to now and 2027?
Of course, I'll have to start by saying that I am actually an obedient spirit, body and soul. But it's not obedience in terms of political affiliation or ethnicity. It's a movement that we have engaged because we want a better Nigeria. So Peter Obi as a person is an individual that has proven his onus. Even when he was the governor of Anambra State, up till this time, we have been able to analyze his person, his strategies, and his passion. So I think Peter Obi is in the right direction to, engage in the political race on how to salvage Nigeria from our failing economy.
Do you think Peter Obi actually has the willpower to do all that he has been preaching, or is it just rhetoric?
100%. He has the willpower. Peter Obi has the willpower because he has been proven in all dimensions. What do we even call willpower in Nigeria? It's actually capacity and competence which Peter Obi possesses. So I don't think, I know, and that we Nigerians, well-meaning Nigerians know that Peter Obi has the willpower to achieve all this, or to rule Nigeria effectively.
Now, if you were to talk about Peter Obi's core motivation for running or for actively being involved in 2027, what would you say it is?
Peter Obi's motivation is to achieve a better Nigeria. Peter's motivation is anchored on the fact that he has seen, through his research, through his leadership experience, he has seen that Nigeria has the potentials of becoming an advanced nation, or what you can categorize as developed country. So his motivation is that he has seen that what is holding this country, based on his empirical studies and researches and visits to developed nations, is simply some dissuaded individuals, structures that's been established to keep the country underdeveloped. So one of his motivations is to dismantle those structure of corruption, structure of underdevelopment, a structure that has enriched a few at the expense of others. He has also seen that this country has a lot of economic potentials that, when harnessed, Nigeria can be placed as one of the most developed countries of the world. So his passion, his motivation is not necessarily anchored on seizing power or trying to be president. It's a passion of economic recovery, and that's why he always said that a better Nigeria is possible.
Now, looking at how 2023 election panned out, how would you say that his post-2023 political, conduct and, what played out, how do you think it has shaped public perception of his 2027 intentions?
Well, the truth is that the last election communicated a lot of things that has decayed in Nigeria, especially our electoral system. Okay, we are in a country where we need to engage in so many reforms, especially in our electoral system. But on that same ground, Peter Obi is still in the right direction, because we Nigerians are now seeing the obvious fact why we need somebody like him in the country. So he's in the right direction, he's doing the right thing, and I believe that with time, with 2027 election, a lot of things will change drastically and significantly. That's my belief and faith.
All right, now there's been something that has been trending on social media and relating to Wike. According to Wike, he said Peter Obi's return will destroy PDP. He also referred to Peter Obi as a social media candidate. I mean, what is your response to that, seeing what played in 2023 up till now?
You could see the class of leaders we have in Nigeria coming out, a comment coming out from someone that has assumed an extracted leadership experience. Peter Obi is not just a social media president. Peter Obi is a movement that cannot be quenched. Peter Obi represents the mindset and the willpower of the average well-meaning Nigerian. Peter Obi's movement has nothing to do with just social media influence and impact. His movement is anchored on what the average Nigeria is presently craving for. We need a better Nigeria, we need better employment, we need to reduce poverty, we want sustained security, and other dimensions of economic development indicators. So, what Enrique might have said is his own perception, his own cup of tea. You could see how they are more focused on party consciousness. It is not all about party consciousness, it's about a movement for economic recovery and for a better Nigeria.
Now, some people on social media would say that he's just obsessed with leadership. He just wants to be on that seat. You know, he with his agenda of turning Nigeria from, you know, consumption state to production state. I don't know. I feel like I would not say that. I feel like some persons on social media would say that he had the opportunity in 2023, but he lost, even though he tried to contend. Some obedient on the internet are saying that he is too calm, that he should have done something better or pushed forward for him to regain seat in 2023.
Well, when people make such statements, I sit down to analyze the class of persons who are pushing this false narrative. The truth is that Peter Obi has always been a stable individual who obeys the rule of law, or whatever you call law in the country. He contested for an election. The electoral system declared another person winner, or someone else winner, or whoever they said is the winner. He has done the legal things he should have engaged. He has gone to court. He has engaged every legal strategy. You don't expect him to start being violent about it. We are the baboons and the dogs who have to bleed because he did not win the election. That's a stable human being that has demonstrated the kind of leadership that we are craving for. Okay, so people who are saying that he has been too soft, he has been so lenient, I wonder what they want him to do. He has harnessed every strategy to regain back his mandate. And these things were flawed by a decayed system, or a decayed electoral system. So what else do you want him to do? Should he start mobilizing people to start carrying knives and guns so they will not come and say he's a terrorist presidential aspirant? I don't know what else he wants us to do. So, but all I know is that all we need this time is to be more intensive, or more intentional, more aggressive, not in terms of violence. We need to be more aggressive. We need to create systems that will make the government or the systems more accountable. You don't tolerate this kind of things in developed nations where before your face things are not done right. People move out and demand for accountability. People move out and aggressively, I don't mean aggression in terms of blood and fighting, no. When you are passionate about something, that's a form of aggression. Okay, so I don't expect it to go beyond what he's doing right now, but I think and I see he's winning the minds of more Nigerians because, of course, the present administration has shown why we are not really comfortable.
But if we were to switch positions between Peter Obi and Tinubu, if Tinubu were to be in Peter Obi's shoes in 2023, do you think the result would have been different? We would have had a different outcome?
These are switching two different personalities that has their own personal strategies. I don't know Tinubu. I know about him. Whatever that may have done is actually is an unforeseen analysis. Okay, if he would have engaged some other strategies, that's his own cup of tea. I don't know what he would have done, but all I know is that Peter Obi's strategy is stable and he is in the right direction.
Right. Now, looking at the opposition coalitions forming, like the ADC, which Peter Obi, it is believed that he is identifying with them already, alongside some other figures like Atiku Abubakar, El Rufai, Amechi, and the likes. But he has also come out to say things like he's not leaving the Labour Party, or he's still with the Labour Party. And it seems that that has caused some sort of confusion in the minds of citizens, because it's like no one knows where exactly he is. Is he still with Labour Party? Is he with ADC, the coalition? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, people should understand that Peter Obi is not necessarily a man attached to political party, or he's not a man of party consciousness. People should know that Peter Obi's movement is not all about party identification. It's all about achieving a new and better Nigeria. So whether he's in Labour Party, whether he's in alignment with the coalition project, is not really the issue now. The issue now is that we are still in a decaying economy where unemployment is rising every day, and it needs to be interrupted. We are over half of Nigerians at the moment are experiencing multi-dimensional poverty at over 50%. We're in a country where our own children, if you look at the children department, they're experiencing multi-dimensional poverty, as 67% of them are experiencing this. So Peter Obi's movement has nothing to do with political party identification or consciousness or alignment. If you can remember, during the last election, presidential election, while his party was campaigning for his presidential aspiration, he traveled to Egypt to go and find out why they're enjoying stable power. That's to show you that this is not a man who is after grabbing power for what comes with power. He wants to achieve a better Nigeria, and I will say again, with Peter Obi, a new Nigeria is possible.
Right, but he has to identify with the party, because if he's coming out in 2027, people have to know where he stands so that they can vote with the party. So if people are confused as to where he is, don't you think that that is a problem of some sort?
This confusion is insignificant, because even if Peter Obi comes tomorrow, a day to the election, and says, I belong to so party, where many Nigerians will vote him. So at this moment, the confusion is only exaggerated by, we know the people who are doing these exaggerations. There's no confusion. He's only analyzing his presidential plans and objectives. It's not about confusion. Nobody's confused. Whoever that's saying that we are confused is exaggerating that outcome. And we know people who are doing all this. So we are not confused. If Peter Obi says by tomorrow he belongs to a bad day party, many Nigerians will still vote.
All right. Now, I want to ask you something else. Peter Obi has said that he wouldn't need more than 1 4-year term to steer Nigeria in the right direction. In your view, do you think that this idea of a single-term pledge is realistic, looking at Nigeria's, institutional challenges and political space? 100%.
There was a statement he made during the last presidential campaign. Peter Obi said that he may not promise Nigerians an automatic economic outturn when he assumes office. He is only saying that what this country needs, the first thing we need is to dismantle the structure that has kept us underdeveloped. When he enters there, he dismantles the structure, reviews our economic policies, and then puts us in the route for development. That's the most important thing. There's a difference between the fact that you are traveling to Lagos and the conductor or driver places you in a route to go into Aba. That doesn't make sense. Peter Obi is only advancing that he wants to put Nigeria in that route of development, so that whatever outcome that comes out from it becomes a sustained outcome and positive development. So the 4-year term is feasible, because what is keeping Nigeria wouldn't take 200 years to rectify. Human beings are responsible for this country's situation as we speak.
All right. Now, Peter Obi has actually been spotted in different social events, political events, and what have you. Some would, actually spot him at book launch, at burial, NGO events, unveilings, amongst others. But, some people have a concern that Peter Obi is trying to seek empathy and attention from the public away from his political agenda. I don't know, what are your thoughts? Is this his way of, trying to creep into the heart of the public?
Now, people should understand that has been Peter Obi's personality, even before all these political issues begin to spring up. Go and verify. That has been our slogan. Go and verify his lifestyle, his achievements, his antecedents, his history are all in the public domain. So go and find out who Peter Obi was before the political space began to bring him out for presidential or whatever. Even before he actually became a governor, he was recommended because of his personality. He has been a man of empathy. He has been a man of selflessness. He has been a man of integrity. A man that has all these virtues even before the political ambitions and all that is in him. And mind you, for you to be a very effective leader, especially in such a country like Nigeria, which is multicultural, you should also possess what you call social intelligence. So all these visits, all these events and all that is part of the leadership engagement. You have to connect with the people. And he's not doing it. Peter Obi is not poor. Of course you know that. He's a billionaire. Even without the political affiliations or connections. He's a billionaire. He's a fulfilled young man. But he is seeing that Nigeria has the potential to experience more growth, more development, and we can actually be ranked as one of the most developed countries of the world. So Peter Obi's personality is outside the political attachments.
So the people keep asking, if they are to give their vote to this man, can he take them to the promised land? Is he able to unseat the incumbent party? So everybody wants to, cast their votes.
Peter Obi is not to unseat the incumbent party. We Nigerians, well-meaning Nigerians, it's our responsibility to access the incumbent party, their performance, look at the performance indicators of the country, the poverty rate, the inflation rate, the unemployment rate, every indicator, the insecurity index, and judge yourself. Take away ethnicity, because I remember during my years as a student, I was meditating over some of the factors that might have kept Nigeria underdeveloped, and three variables were revealed to me in terms of what you call inspiration: ethnicity, education, and religion. So if we Nigerians can actually understand what is going on and take away that ethnicity consciousness, we can unseat an incompetent administration. It's not all about just Peter Obi. It's about seeing a man that has the capacity to take us to the promised land, and he has shown that in his leadership curriculum vitae as the governor of Anambra State. We could see how he turned the state around. He never owed salaries, he never owed gratuities, he never owed pensions. Every contractor were fully paid. The state began to enjoy a better human capital development, a better health sector development, a better economic growth. So a man that has demonstrated such achievement without any dent of corruption, because they have searched and searched to find out if he has actually engaged in what we call mischanneling or corruption. Nothing was found in him. So such a man has the capacity to take this country to the promised land.
Okay, now you said it's not about unseating the incumbent, it's about unseating an incompetent government.
Yes.
Now, 2023 was also about unseating an incompetent government, and we all know how that turned out. I mean, people came out en masse to vote for Peter Obi, and at the end of the day, we have the president that we have now, which is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. From that incident, looking at 2027, with the same intention of unseating an incompetent government, like you say, do you think that at this point it is something that the citizens of Nigeria still have that confidence or hope that if they go and they cast their votes will actually count? Because we say sitting an incompetent government, but when it comes to what happens in real life, it's not the same thing. So tell us about that.
Now listen, I have to be highly unapologetic to make this statement. We Nigerians should demand for electoral system reforms. That is where most of these things lies. The truth is that we have kept quiet for a very long time. This is not to call for violent outcomes. Our electoral system is decayed, and that is the truth. We are all aware of that. There's nothing to hide about it. And for us to achieve a better electoral system, we need to call for reforms. We need to call for reforms. There has to be a system whereby there should be an independent scenario between the electoral system and even the executive or whoever that is, whatever, so that there could be transparency without influence. As long as we still leave this electoral system the way it is, I think our votes may still not really count, and that is the truth. So the electoral system is the foundation to elect a better leader and for the vote of the average Nigerian to count.
All right. Now, I would like to understand, what would you say are the greatest risks to Obi's ambition? The greatest barriers, challenges so far?
The greatest challenge to Peter Obi's ambition is ethnicity and hypocrisy. Nigeria is such a blessed country, blessed with multicultural scenario, but ethnicity has really dealt with us in this part of the world. And it's a situation whereby you see, even when a certain tribe perceives their own candidate as incompetent, but based on tribe and ethnic bias, they will say we'll vote for this person. Now you could see first 4 years administration of an incompetent administrator or president or governor, or let's say national way president, the tribe associated with that person, even though they have seen that that person did not perform well, they will still insist to vote the person, which is ethnicity. And that has really dealt with us a lot. So one of Peter Obi's greatest risk is ethnicity. A lot of persons would say, since he's Igbo, he can never get my vote. It's happening everywhere. Go to the social media space. It's all in the public domain. You see people making some statements about Peter Obi that he's trying to advance this project. Some people say that he's trying to advance Biafra, that once he enters into seat, he will create Biafra. Can you imagine? And when I look at the names of people making this comment, we know the tribe they are from. Okay, so that's one of the greatest barriers, ethnicity, not even religiosity. Religion is playing a little role because some would say, as long as he's not a Muslim, he's a Christian, I will never vote him. But the main variable that has placed his potentials at risk is ethnicity.
Right now, before we go, looking at the political space and all his contenders, both those that are competing with him and against him, who would you say are the people that are afraid of him? Who would you say, these are the people who are scared of him, that if he comes into power, things would probably not go down well with them?
Every other person who is not within the obedient movement or who is not within the echelon of Peter Obi's candidature are the persons that are afraid. The cabals that has kept this country underdeveloped. Nigeria is a country where a few persons are determining our economic outcome. And that is why you could see a very robust GDP, but the distribution is infinitesimal. Yes, World Bank has reported that our GDP is huge, our gross domestic product. But the problem is the distribution is very poor. Now, there are people that will definitely be poor or whose income will reduce once Peter Obi assumes office, because he's going to dismantle a structure that keeps enriching a few and making others poor. So those persons who are part of those running down our treasury through corruption, through an institutionalized corruptive system, are the persons that are afraid. Imagine somebody coming to take away where you're eating from negatively. You're going to be afraid for that person to assume office. So the corrupt persons, the wicked politicians, the administrators and individuals who are enjoying this economy at the expense of a larger population are the ones who are going to be afraid.
All right. Finally, what kind of alliance do you think Peter Obi should make apart from Southeast and the youth?
You mean in terms of political alliance?
Yes.
You mean in terms of, are you talking about the running mate or something? Or
however you want to count it.
Of course, we will still pray for the Obidati movement. We are still anchored on Obidati, unless there are things that have made him to change his mind. But Obidati movement remains our preferred, scenario to achieve what you have in mind.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us in the studio this morning. And thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Now we just spoke to Nwachukwu Nnamdi. He's a data analyst, economist, and a youth advocate. And we just spoke about 2027, Peter Obi's obsession beyond the campaigns. Thank you for watching this morning. Stay with us. We'll go on a short break. When we return, Signature Morning continues.